Hi, Dr. Robert Herstick here with a look at alcoholism in the movies, with a particular focus on medical aspects of alcoholism. Alcoholism has been portrayed in the movies for as long as there have been movies. Early films often used drunkenness for comic effect. Others equated alcohol use with urban sophistication.
This will make 6 martinis.
All right. Will you bring me 5 more martinis? Leo, line them right up here.
Yes, ma'am.
More recent films have tended to be alcoholic character studies. Indeed, the list of Oscar nominees and winners who have portrayed alcoholics is a long one. But few movies have looked at medical aspects of alcoholism, such as alcohol withdrawal and alcohol treatment. In this video, I'll look at 3 noteworthy films from the mid-20th century that do just that. I should mention 2 things at this point. One, although the currently preferred medical term is alcohol use disorder, I'll use the traditional term alcoholism. And 2, a warning that suicide will be discussed. Okay, here we go. The Lost Weekend is a remarkable 1945 film that won Oscars for Best Picture, Best Actor Ray Milland, Best Screenplay Charles Bracken and Billy Wilder, and Best Director Billy Wilder. The film is based on an autobiographical novel by Charles Jackson. Lost Weekend was the first film to deal directly with alcoholism, and 80 years later, it remains the best. It is accurate and stark in its depiction of the condition. When I first saw this movie, I thought it was over the top with a reefer madness type quality. But having since seen alcoholism and alcohol withdrawal many times, I now appreciate that Ray Milland's portrayal is spot on. Here we hear one of the earliest uses of the theremin in a film score, which composer Miklos Rozsa used to effectively eerie effect. Rozsa was Oscar nominated, but he lost out that year to Miklos Rozsa for his score of Alfred Hitchcock's Spellbound.
Sure, the lucky ones who can take it or leave it. But then there are the ones who can't take it and can't leave it either. What I'm trying to say is I'm not a drinker, I'm a drunk.
Don Burnham is a writer whose career has been derailed by alcoholism.
Sure, take a nice job, public accountant.
Don's romantic interest, Helen, is played by Jane Wyman.
Guts, Helen. Most men lead lives.
Helen is one-dimensionally perky, and their relationship is not particularly interesting, except for this business with cigarettes. In the source novel, Don is bisexual. That was a no-go with the Film Production Code in 1945, but Billy Wilder managed this oblique reference.
You know, once I even got myself a gun and some bullets. I was going to do it on my 30th birthday.
The issue of suicide is raised.
There are the bullets.
It will loom larger later in the film.
3 quarts of whiskey. The flop suicide of a flop writer.
Don has a more interesting and intimate relationship with his bartender, Nat.
How is my very good friend Nat today?
Yes, Mr. Bynum?
Today you'll be glad to know we can barter on a cash basis.
1 straight rye.
That was the idea.
Nat is sympathetic and brutally honest. It's with Nat that Don opens up about his alcoholism. This is a pivotal moment in the story, thus the dramatic theremin. Don was supposed to spend a dry weekend in the country with his brother, but instead stays home and begins a fateful alcohol binge. This drink is the first step into the vortex.
Don't wipe it away, Nat. Let me have my little vicious circle. Nat, are you ever scared when you wake up? So scared the sweat starts out of you, huh? You ever lie in your bed looking at the window? Little daylight's coming through, and you start to wonder, is it getting lighter, is it getting darker? Is it dawn or is it dusk? It's a terrifying problem, Nat. 3 years of it.
And what? How does it come out?
The issue of suicide is again raised.
Want me to tell you? One day a guy gets wise to himself and gets back that gun. Or he's only got $1.10, he goes to the top of the Empire State Building, way up on top. And then, I could do it for a nickel in the subway under a train.
You think so, Nat?
Don falls down the stairs while drunk and sustains a concussion. He wakes up in the alcoholic ward of Bellevue Hospital. This scene was actually shot in the alcoholic ward of Bellevue Hospital. It will be a very scary place come nightfall. Don's neighbor is showing signs of alcohol withdrawal with delirium, sweating, and shakiness.
Good morning, Mary Sunshine. How's your head?
Where am I? What is this place?
This is Hangover Plaza.
What hospital is this?
Alcoholic ward. How's your head?
It aches.
Thought you had her fractured till we looked at the x-rays. Everything in one piece. Just a slight concussion.
Why'd they put me in the alcoholic ward?
Are you kidding? We had a peek at your blood. Straight Applejack. 96 proof.
You a doctor?
I'm a nurse. Name of Nolan. They call me Bim. You can call me Bim. What's your
Bim is played by the great character actor Frank
What kind,
Phelan.
Burnham?
Bim is jaded after years of dealing with alcoholics.
209.
In less than 5 minutes of screen time, he will morph from affable to mocking
Postcard.
to sadistic.
So they know where Honey Boy is and can pick him up when he's feeling better.
Look, no postcard, understand? Nobody's gonna pick me up.
The management insists. If we let you guys go home alone, a lot of you don't go home. You just hit the nearest bar and bounce right back again. What we call the quick ricochet.
Bim is not exaggerating. Relapse is a major problem with alcohol use disorder.
Look, I'm as
Maintenance
well as you are. I
options
can
were
get out of
limited
here
in
right
1945.
So,
now. Where are my clothes?
downstairs.
How do I get out of this place?
Right through there.
Got your discharge,
My what?
your release.
I'm all right. Let me out.
Get back there.
Keep
Go
your
on.
hands off me.
Burnham. Come here, Burnham.
Is this a jail?
Well, this department's sort of a halfway hospital, halfway jail.
Sedatives are administered to help mitigate symptoms of alcohol withdrawal.
If only you won't send
In 1945, that would have been paraldehyde.
anybody to know.
Current treatment with benzodiazepine meds is safer and more effective.
There'll be more of them. You'll be back.
Oh, shut up.
Listen, I can pick an alky with one eye shut. You're an alky. You'll come back. They all do. Him, for instance, shows up every month just like the gas bill. And the one there with the glasses. Another repeater. This is his 45th trip. Big executive in the advertising business. Lovely fellow. Been coming here since 1927. Good old Prohibition days. Now be a good boy and drink this.
I don't want it.
Better take it. Liable to be a little floor show later on around here. Might get on your nerves.
Floor show?
This is sadistic Bim, with the camera looking up at him as he looks down at Don and proceeds to scare the bejesus out of him.
Freshman. Wait till you're a sophomore. That's when you start seeing the little animals. You know that stuff about pink elephants? That's the bunk. It's little animals. Little tiny turkeys in straw hats. Midget monkeys coming through the keyholes. See that guy over there? With him, it's beetles. Come the night, he sees beetles crawling all over him. Has to be dark, though. It's like the doctor was just telling me. Delirium is a disease of the night. Good night.
This unforgettable scene is a cross between 1930s Gothic horror and 1940s film noir. We are about to see delirium tremens, better known as the DTs. Delirium tremens occurs when a heavy drinker stops drinking, either by choice or by circumstance. It's the scariest stage of alcohol withdrawal. Scary for patients, scary for nurses, scary for doctors. Patients are frightened and delirious with surges in catecholamines, heart rate, and blood pressure. These surges can cause seizures, cardiac arrhythmias, and cardiovascular collapse. People can die from DTs. They are literally scared to death, and I'm using the word literally. Don escapes from Bellevue, but doesn't escape his fate. He returns to what he thinks is the safety of his apartment. But remember what Bim said about little animals.
the door. You see? Everything's going to be all right. I'll stay right with you.
It's little animals. It's always little animals. That's what Bim said.
You're not making much sense, Don.
And you know what Nat said about the ending? Like this. Or like that. Like this. Or like that.
After that harrowing experience, Don contemplates suicide. Depression is common in alcoholics, and as a result, suicide rates are significantly higher.
What is it, Helen? What's the matter?
Helen arrives in time to prevent tragedy.
The Bottle, a novel by Don Burnham. What was that to be?
About a messed up life, about a man and a woman and a bottle, about nightmares, horrors, humiliations, all the things I want to forget.
Put it all down on paper. Get rid of it that way. Tell it all to whom it may concern.
This implausibly happy ending is the movie's only weakness. Don, on the verge of suicide, is convinced by Helen to instead write a book about his experiences with alcohol. He agrees and decides then and there to quit drinking. He just quits. I suppose this movie would have been too grim for 1945 audiences without a happy ending, however implausible. In real life, there was no happy ending. Author Charles Jackson relapsed into alcoholism and committed suicide. I'll Cry Tomorrow from 1955 is a biopic based on the best-selling autobiography of Lillian Roth. Susan Hayward was Oscar-nominated for her portrayal of Roth. The soapy tone of the film was presaged by the campy tagline, "Filmed on location, inside a woman's soul."
And then John found the third.
Lillian Roth is not well known today, but she was a big Broadway and film star in the 1920s and 30s. Marx Brothers fans will recognize her as the romantic lead in 1930's Animal Crackers, in which she appeared at age 19.
Why am I so romantic? I'm just a kid again, doing what I did again.
I'll Cry Tomorrow depicts Lillian's rise to stardom and subsequent descent into alcoholism.
Comes above it, when the red robin comes, bobbity-bobbing along.
Lillian's early success is marred by the tragic death of her fiancé.
Lily, do you know what you're going to become? You're going to become an old-fashioned drunkard.
Toxic relationships with her mother and a series of cads fuel Lillian's drinking.
You're on your own. I should mind my own business, but you're my daughter. Everybody is talking. The agents, the managers.
Everybody's talking.
Yes.
Huh?
Louis is afraid to submit you to the Schubert because you're drinking all the time.
Lillian's downward spiral accelerates when she becomes depressed, hits the skids, pawns her fur coat, survives DTs, and contemplates suicide.
Oh, dear God, help me. Help me. My story isn't funny. I can't live. And I can't die.
The final act deals with Lillian's recovery through Alcoholics Anonymous.
Die, you never would have walked through that door.
AA had been founded only 20 years before this film was made, and this was one of the first films to feature it.
And I'm an alcoholic. Now, those of you who are alcoholics, please raise your hands. Thank you. We have three choices: AA, the psycho ward, or the graveyard. And when we get close enough to the graveyard to recognize it, the issue becomes clear-cut and simple.
Lillian ultimately achieved sobriety through AA. She is featured on the popular 1950s TV show This Is Your Life, where the story of her triumph over alcoholism is told.
And whoever they are, This is your life, Lillian Roth.
The film ends happily with a rousing flourish, and I'm happy to report that this happy ending mirrored real life. Lillian Roth went on to have a career resurgence and again became a Broadway headliner. I've included Days of Wine and Roses in this video because it offers some interesting insights into alcoholism. But the film is best described as discordant, for better and for worse. The better is that discordance between the two main characters drives the story and heightens dramatic tension. Jack Lemmon and Lee Remick are both terrific as the alcoholic lovers Joe and Kirsten, and were both Oscar nominated. The worse is the discordant tone of the film, as revealed in the tagline, "In its own terrifying way, it is a love story." The story elements just don't fit together. Cute scenes and silly scenes clash with sadistic scenes, which clash with Henry Mancini's hauntingly lovely score. The result is a movie that's hard to watch. That said, parts of it are compelling. In the beginning, Joe and Kirsten are alcohol discordant. That is, he is a heavy drinker, she is a non-drinker. Joe then coerces Kirsten into drinking, and together they sink into alcoholism.
Oh, it's good.
Later, they again become discordant when Joe has an epiphany that he has become an alcoholic. Kirsten is in denial about her alcoholism and views her drinking as harmless
You know why
fun.
I've been fired from 5 jobs in 4 years, and it's not politics. Like we always say, it's not office politics or jealousy.
Denial is indeed common in alcoholics and is a major impediment to achieving sobriety.
Couple of drinks.
We have more than a couple of drinks. We get drunk. We stay drunk most of the time. I'm a drunk and I don't do my job, and that's it. I'm a drunk and I don't do my job, and I get fired and I can't get a job now, and We should have done this a long time ago, taken a look at ourselves and realized we just turned into a couple of bums.
Honey.
What?
Honey, I love you.
I love you too, and I don't mean that I didn't, but we gotta face this, huh? Please.
In this next sequence, director Blake Edwards subjects us to a psycho-type shower scene followed by an even more distressing 2 full minutes of Joe in withdrawal. Edwards is best known for broad farce like The Pink Panther and Victor Victoria, but here he seems determined to demonstrate his dramatic chops, much to our distress.
Honey, please read the book.
No.
This fellow Hungerford says the AA meetings are terrific. They're just a bunch of alcoholics trying to keep each other sober, and it works. Now, please read the book. It makes sense.
No.
Joe is referred to AA, and the rift between Joe and Kirsten widens further.
You can go if you want to. I don't care, but I'm not going to go. I am not an alcoholic, and I refuse to say I am. I refuse to ask for help in something that is just a matter of self-respect and willpower.
Welcome to the regular weekly meeting of the Mason Street Group of Alcoholics Anonymous. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety.
My name is Joe Clay. I'm an alcoholic.
Good night.
Kiss.
In the end, Joe accepts the tenets of AA and maintains sobriety. Kirsten, still in denial, rejects AA and continues drinking. Their views are irreconcilable, and they must go their separate ways. The film ends with an appropriately unhappy ending and a strangely discordant Roadrunner font. These three films all have something important to say about alcoholism and alcoholism treatment. Viewed as cinema, The Lost Weekend is gripping gothic noir made by a master filmmaker. I've seen it many times and I'm always spellbound. Not Spellbound the Oscar winner for Best Musical Score, but spellbound to be entranced. I'll Cry Tomorrow is a satisfyingly weepy soaper with a terrific performance by Susan Hayward. It's good for a good cry on a rainy Saturday afternoon. On the other hand, Days of Wine and Roses, with its cinema verite, is very hard to watch. I've included it because it has some good stuff about alcoholism, particularly alcoholism denial. And the two leads give compelling performances. It's best viewed with remote control in hand to fast forward through the unpleasant bits. Okay, that's all I've got. Be well.